One of the most outspoken figures in the Egyptian business community, he is Najib Sawiris, the billionaire telecom mogul that supported Morsi's ouster. He has witnessed much of the violence and spoke with us earlier this morning.
9 churches have been burnt on a daily rate of 3 to 4 churches per day. Police stations have been ransacked. A general was burned to death in the police station, you know. I mean, we are only defending ourselves, you know. If you don't want to acknowledge that these people are associated with terror and terrorism, and they are threatening with terror, you know, unless they are let to do what they want, I don't know what the hell should we do.
Well, after these events, the big question that people have been asking, who should or will get involved?
One of the key actors is Qatar, and another one is Turkey. These are 2 countries that have roots and ties to some of the Islamist forces. And many people are trying right now to get all parties to step back from the brink, because yesterday in Egypt was more deadly than Syria. And Syria is in a very vicious civil war. And we really don't want to see Egypt, the Arab world's largest country, go down the path of what Syria has experienced the last 2 years.
It's sort of a tricky situation for the Obama administration, and now a growing number of lawmakers are urging President Obama to officially declare Mr. Morsi's overthrow as a coup, which would mean the U.S. would withhold the $1.3 billion in aid to the Egyptian military. Should the U.S. do that?
I think at this stage it should. I was not in favor of that, but as Egypt stands on the brink and its security forces are responsible for much of the violence right now, I think the United States needs to pull out all levers that they may have. I understood their rationale in not wanting to do this initially.
Now, the president stopped short of, well, actually doing that. He spoke from Martha's Vineyard earlier this morning.
We are canceling our biannual joint military exercise, which was scheduled for next month. Going forward, I've asked my national security team to assess the implications of the actions taken by the interim government and further steps that we may take as necessary with respect to the U.S.-Egyptian relationship. America cannot determine the future of Egypt. That's a task for the Egyptian people. We don't take sides with any particular party or political figure. I know it's tempting inside of Egypt to blame the United States or the West or some other outside actor for what's gone wrong.
All right, let's take a step back and consider how Egypt got here in the first place. Former U.S. Ambassador to Egypt, Frank Wisner, sums up the events of last year.
Well, Egypt's obviously been on a roller coaster since the events started in the spring of 2011 in Tahrir Square. You've gone through a period of army control. You had general elections, presidential election. Muslim Brothers came to power. They then conduct themselves in a manner that offends a great many Egyptians. The crowds surge on the streets earlier this summer, and the military steps back in, and you now have an interim civilian government that's committed.
A state of emergency.
And now a state of emergency. The interim government that came in is committed to a roadmap to get Egypt back on the road to democracy. So we are watching a very fast-breaking situation.